Hey guys, I had a client that straight up blatantly asked me, "Did you try unaliving yourself?" And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" He goes, "Did you try unaliving yourself?" And I'm like, "No, why would you ask me such a question?" He goes, "Well, you have a cut on your arm, and I thought maybe you try unaliving yourself." Well, the cut he was referring to, I think you could see the scar right here on top of my arm. And I said, "No." I said, "My daughter's dog jumped on me. Why would you ask me such a thing?" Well, needless to say, I did not handle this situation at all in my salon. My brother was schmurdered 6 weeks, 6, 7 weeks prior to this, and my stepdad just recently was on hospice and passed away. This all happened literally the day before my stepdad's funeral. So I decided to blow it off and I ignored it. And just a couple weeks ago, I was looking through my books for the salon and I saw that their names, the husband and wife's name, back on my book. And I'm like, ugh, I got to do something about this. So I called the wife because I don't have the husband's number, and I said, "Hello, wife." I said, "I want to talk to you about the conversation between your husband and myself." She need reiterated, and I said, the conversation where your husband blatantly asked me if I tried unaliving myself. So I told her that I sought counsel and I talked about this, and I had decided that he's no longer welcome in my salon. And she goes, "What? Why? Why would you do that? This is really harsh." Really? So I explained to her that he asked me if I tried unaliving myself. I told her that that was rude, disrespectful, and downright degrading. And not to mention that the injury on my arm wasn't even near a concerning area. And she goes, "Well, you've been through a lot, and he was really concerned about you," and giggled. So I explained to her, I said, there was many other ways that he could have asked me what was happening. So he could have asked me, "Hey, what happened to your arm?" Or "How'd you get that cut on your arm?" And I would have told him my daughter's dog jumped on me. And I mean, it was a pretty nasty cut. It was like borderline, I needed stitches, like borderline, do I not need stitches? And she goes, "Well, he was concerned for you." So what could have happened was he could have asked me in so many different ways, but what really bothers me about her defending his poor actions is she's a school psychologist. She works with broken families. She works with broken kids. She works with kids with disabilities. And she just dismissed this like it was my problem. I have a problem with that. And I feel like I speak for a lot of people when I'm talking about this, because this isn't about me. This is me being a voice for victims of people who have had their loved ones die by unalivicide. And it hurts. There's so many questions. There's so many things that makes a person feel when they lose a loved one to this type of death. I mean, and just what if that stupid, ridiculous question made me go do something very tragic? What if I was just 1 foot into that decision? What if my mental health was just completely unstable? And that made me do something. And then my family would have been distraught and traumatized because of someone else's stupid mouth. Okay, and these aren't young people. These are people in their 80s, so they should seriously know better, especially the wife being a school psychologist. Like, there's just a lot messed up about this whole thing. So what I want to do is I want to use my voice, my experiences, to help somebody else. So what could we do to help somebody else ask those questions, those hard questions? Ask them, "Hey, what happened to your arm? Can you tell me about that?" Or, "How'd you get that injury?" And I'm pretty sure that the people could have talked about their injury and how it happened. And if you have suspicion that there was a little bit of funny business going on, then you can redirect questions around other than, "Did you try unaliving yourself?" Like there's other ways of asking. Like one example is my brother was murdered. And a couple weeks later, I lost my stepdad, so I've had all this stuff. Somebody could come up to me and ask me, hey, I just want to really make sure you're doing okay. I know you've been through a lot, and I just want to make sure you're doing okay. How you doing? How's life treating you? And that could go so much further than, did you try unaliving yourself? Like, it's ridiculous. So, with that being said, especially around the holidays, people, this is a very stressful, emotional time for them. And then so is January and February, because the Christmas lights are turned off. Life gets quiet, life gets secluded. So be kind and be careful what you ask people. Because I can tell you right now, there is no one on this earth worth unaliving myself for. My dad died by that scenario, and I know how it impacted my life, and I decided, as of 2024, I'm going to be a voice for that. I'm going to be a voice to protect those people, but also to protect and educate other people that have been victims of that. I'm a victim of that because I lost a dad. I lost my dad at a very young age, and I had questions, and it impacted me in so many different ways. But with this being the holidays, I do want to keep it light and just educate. Be careful how you ask people things. And then starting in January, we're going to discuss a little bit more. I've got a team of people I'm putting together so that way I can give you the correct information and the proper way to execute this stuff. So, so stay tuned for that. Okay, guys? Until then, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and be kind, okay? Thank you, guys.